Hello there and welcome back to Dukascopy TV. I'm Monica Gibson. Gregory Linn joins me in the studio right now. Gregory, welcome to the studio.
Thanks for having me back.
Lovely to see you. Now, you were recently at a big travel convention in Paris, I believe. So, from your point of view, what were the biggest takeaways? What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, there were several things. There was sustainable tourism. That's often a common subject that comes back every time. But now we're getting more and more companies that are serious about it. Of course, there's the carbon footprint aspect, which is hard to manage to really see how, in which way we're going to really have sustainable tourism in the full value chain of the traveler. But there were some interesting discussions on how to go about that. So that is one of the main topics. Otherwise, there was the first ever conference I heard about space tourism, which is also something quite, novel, but of course it's been talked about for years, but we're becoming to the point where we might find a business model that would allow it for the masses. That would be reachable. So there's the two main projects, SpaceX by Elon Musk, the same guy behind Tesla, and also Virgin Galactic, of course, by Richard Branson. So basically those are the two main projects, but there could be another project coming out of the woodworks anytime soon, because there's talks about a third company getting involved in space tourism as well. And the last main talk was about big data and everything to do about big data and other aspects of big data. So those were really the main three big subjects that were talked about in a novel way.
Quite multidimensional, obviously touching space, then the next frontier as it were, and then going to the technology side of things as well, and the data collection. But also something from research where it seems to be a buzzword in this industry is the sort of personalisation of travel. So what do we really mean this? How are companies or travel industries trying to adapt or really adopt this approach?
Right, so well, getting back to big data concerning personalization, this is the way that most companies are going about it. So this data scientists used to be only interested in health or industry or fast-moving consumer goods, and now they're getting interested in tourism because they see the benefits of analyzing all the data, using it. And there's not only big data. There was conferences about small data, which was also interesting because that means everybody can get on board in the tourism industry. It doesn't have to be only the big players. The smaller players can also use the data they can collect on their consumers and use it to really get information of value for their travelers. There's another aspect is open data, of course. So big data, the way it's collected, there's the 4 V's. So it's variety, velocity, so the speed of collecting the data. There's the volume of the total data, and the last point is the veracity of the data. So basically it's 4 V's in total. And that is, in a nutshell, what big data is about. And then open data is the idea of opening that big data to the public. And a lot of companies are still lukewarm about that because they do not know if they want to keep that for themselves and use that, but nobody is going to innovate alone. So the idea is to collaborate, and then that will lead to new innovations on a global scale. Okay,
and really sort of doing the mass market thing. But this personalization, this knowing your information, knowing your customer, and giving them the more personal experience, really, is this really innovative, or is it really going back to perhaps what we once had but was lost through dynamic pricing, budget airlines, and which has really changed the whole face of traveling, really?
Sure. Well, if you look at dynamic pricing, since you mentioned it, that was in a way at the beginning of big data and personalization, because it was a way of having different prices for different people at different times and on real time as well. And this is becoming even more important with mobile, because with mobile now there's companies like Accor, they're looking to base all of their services, hotel services, around the mobile. So basically on-site before people getting there, and also when they're off-site of the hotel, they will still have services from the hotel that will be accessible. And this is just one example. There's also, you can order your pillows in advance for some hotels of a certain size, certain volume. So these are all types of ideas of personalization that are really coming and way beyond what you could think about a couple of years ago.
It does sound like the more bespoke experience but for the masses. But you've mentioned space, but where do you see the industry going in the next 5 to 10 years? What's next?
So what I think is there's going to be major concentrations of we already see it on the higher end. The higher end is many of the bigger online travel agents are buying other smaller companies to concentrate. And at the lower level, there's lots of smaller players that are out there that are innovative and everything, but they will also be swallowed up eventually by the bigger players. So there will be major concentration. There also is the idea of creating the best platform there could be out there, and that is still, the ideal platform does still not exist. So the idea is that today people are overwhelmed by the choices they have when they go online. Now the idea is to give them really what they need, when they want it, at the right time. And that means curation. And curation, you already see lots of websites that are concentrated on creating the specific information, like Hotel Tonight, which is really just on hotels bookable the same day. That's it. And so there will be specific sites which will give some specific content, and other ones which will be global, but will be much more to the point and not with overwhelming information.
So fine-tuning is the way forward, it seems.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, it's a hugely interesting topic. I'm sure we could discuss it for ages, but thank you so much for coming in and sharing your insights with us. It's been a pleasure, Greg.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Well, there we have it. Soon we might all be going on holiday to space, but you heard it here first. Make sure you keep clicking back to Dukascopy TV for many more exclusive interviews coming your way soon. Goodbye for now.